Welcome to the Art of Mindfulness with me, Patrick Dalrymple. My last name, I believe it comes from either Ireland or Scotland, Dalrymple like this. And I believe it means the flow of a river. So let's just draw a little bit of a river. And if you're just joining for the first time, I kind of just do art on a whiteboard, but at the same time I like to give little analyses and as well I like to incorporate mindfulness in what I do and artistic style. It's a bit abstract. It's not, I wouldn't say it's the most fancy thing on earth, but that doesn't matter. I think I like being myself with all of you. And so this just means the flow. I'm not sure if it's the flow of a river or the flow of a stream. I think it's the flow of a stream. And my first name, Patrick, just like this. And one thing I realized about myself lately is that I have to be more compassionate towards myself, more compassionate towards my friends and family. Not that I'm not, but to find compassion within one's heart is extremely important. And how do we do that? I'll explain to you some techniques here. So let's say this is our heart. And our heart, let's say we're born with a heart that's filled with love. Well, over time, that heart kind of gets hurt. We have a very sensitive kind of being, and that being resides as our body, in our body kind of, and this being gets hurt, and it's sensitive. But at the same time, as these sensitivities accumulate, we kind of forget who we are, and we forget that we're made of love. And I know that sounds like I'm coming straight out of the 1960s, the hippie revolution, but I'm being honest with you. I really truly believe that within us lies a beautiful kind of kingdom. And in religious terms, we can say that within us lies the kingdom of heaven. You can use whatever term you want. There's no judgment here. And as I explained to you the following techniques, I just want you to focus on your breath, focus on where you are at right now. Like, for example, I'm in a studio, there's lighting, there's beautiful kind of sounds that are kind of peaceful. It's kind of like white noise in the background. And so we have a heart that's hurt. What can we do about it? The first thing is to acknowledge that we want to feel who we are again. And by how to feel who we are again, we need to feel our emotions. And when our emotions become too heavy, we surrender them. So let's say this was my heart. My heart is filled with a little bit of pain, maybe even trauma from my childhood. And I'll admit it, I have a little bit of trauma. I think everyone does to a certain extent. So we allow ourselves to feel that pain, bring awareness to it, and when it gets to be too much, we allow this feeling, we let go of it, and what will happen is it'll leave your heart area, but in order to leave, it'll go through your consciousness, your awareness first. So you'll feel it, but just the fact that it leaves your body after you feel it, it means you don't need to feel it forever, which is kind of a relief, because feeling emotions constantly would be very hard and difficult. And that's something that people, every human is on their own spiritual journey. And that's something that for me, I had to realize was that although I love feeling my emotions, even the ones that are so-called dark, or even the ones that feel really discomforting in my body, I also love to surrender them to a higher power. And that higher power, I believe, is right here and right now. It's like a vibration of like, whoo, like that. It's kind of funny when I did that, but it's a vibration that I feel sometimes when I'm meditating, and I just allow myself, for example, if we take my hand, I did this in a previous episode, but I'm doing it more clearly now. If we were to focus on, let's focus on your hand, and I'll guide you through a little kind of meditation here. So we talked a little bit about the heart, and we feel our emotions, and then we surrender them. We visualize letting them go into the universe, and let's pretend like the universe is conscious, it's aware. We let them go into this awareness. We let go of the pain. We breathe and let go of that hurt, because we don't have to. Sometimes we feel as though we need to hold on to it because it's part of our identity, but that identity can be kind of released, and it becomes lighter. The more you practice self-awareness, feeling your emotions and surrendering them, the more that what I call that inner pain and that density of the body kind of becomes lighter and lighter, and you realize that, oh my goodness, I'm starting to feel almost like a spiritual being having a human experience. And you don't need to believe what I'm saying. This is just my personal kind of journey, and I wanted to be honest with you and share that. So going back to the hand, so we have a hand here. There's something called the inner body, and oftentimes because we're in our heads, we have a whole bunch of thoughts, and we don't really know how to feel anything else but our thoughts. So what you do is you allow yourself to think, you allow yourself to realize that there's self-talk in the head, and after that awareness, you'll get glimpses of moments where you're thinking less. And in those moments where you're thinking less, a good exercise, going to the hand again, is you start feeling maybe the circulation in your hand, and you can turn your hand around, you can open it, and if your hand trembles a little bit, that's okay. It might be a little like a sign of anxiety that's being released. Never say to yourself, I have anxiety and it's stuck in my body, and I can never heal from this because it's who I am. No, like when you put your hands, or even you're talking in public, go into your body and feel what it is that's happening. And as you feel it until it gets intense. And once it gets intense, tell yourself, take a deep breath, and tell yourself within your mind, I am letting go of this. And you'll start to feel little tensions. The more you do this, the more subtlety you'll be able to feel. So you'll start to feel little tensions leave your hand, so to speak. I don't know where these tensions go, but they kind of dissolve. And the more you do this, at first it can just be a small practice, like practicing the inner hand and really realizing what it feels like to even have a hand. And if you don't know what I mean by that, I mean if you close your eyes and you just stop, there's a part of you that knows that your hand is still there. And that sensation, that knows, is what I'm talking about, is the inner body. And at first it's subtle, it's nothing too major, but the more you practice it, the more you'll uncover about yourself. And the deeper rooted emotions that need to be healed will come up. And then you feel it for a moment, and then when it gets too overwhelming, you let it go into the external world. So that's just a kind of example of what the inner body is, and it's a practice that I do every single day. And I've been doing it a lot because in the past, and even currently now, it's a lot less now, but in the past I suffered from depression. And because this show is an honest show about mindfulness, mental health, and art, I just wanted to be as honest as I can with you. So in the past I had depression, and the depression was, let's represent that with a D. The depression had a certain feeling to it. It was dense. It was like a dense energy, and I could represent that as having a heart that felt kind of numb and tired a lot, and not wanting to do a lot of things, even not wanting to take a shower at times because I felt overwhelmed or exhausted. And even watching a show on the television, sometimes if the show was too violent, I felt overwhelmed and anxiety and even panic attacks. So from that point on, I realized that I need to heal. And it took me a long time to realize that I think my problem was I felt my emotions, and it was so intense that I had a hard time keeping up that practice. But someone recently told me, you can feel your emotions, but when it gets intense, as I've mentioned to you, let them go. And there is power in letting them go, because you don't have to handle all of them yourself. And it's good to talk to a counselor about it. I'm not a counselor, but I'm just a person who has a lot of experience with my own mental health journey, and people in my family who have been mentally having struggles. And if you're observant, you'll notice that every person deep down wants to feel a sense of security. So that's a word that we can use here, security. And although I drew it in black, security is felt, you can kind of feel it. So sometimes you get like I'll get a vibration in my foot when I'm meditating, and it's very subtle, and it feels secure. It feels like it's my blood going through my feet, and it vibrates, and it's the best feeling ever. And it feels great. And I can honestly say that the more I go into my feet and feel my feet, it kind of relieves the pain and relieves whatever suffering or emotional kind of discomfort has been stored in there. And it might be an emotion that's 10 years old that I'm just discovering. But to discover that emotion, like I said, there's a two-step process. Number one, you allow yourself to feel. I guess it's a three-step process. Number two, when the feeling gets to be intense, you let it go. So number two is you realize the intensity of it, and number three, you visualize that feeling leaving your body. So the surrendering of it. So just leave it be, leave it go. Leave it go. And we'll do a little meditation now. We're going to start with just looking at this board, taking a deep breath, closing our eyes, noticing if you see any light going into your eyes, into your awareness. Noticing what it feels like to be a human being, or a being human. And we can focus on our hands, our inner hands. So we can kind of give this, I know you can't really see this, but I'm writing focus on the hand here. We focus on what is happening within our bodies. And some people have a hard time feeling what is happening. But I want to tell you that even the feeling of nothing happening is a feeling, is a sensation. And that's great, because you're feeling, it's strange to say this, but you're feeling nothing. And that is good, because you're able to feel that. And that's the start. And you slowly go into your body, you slowly feel and release your emotions, and the more you do that, the more you surrender, the more you become trustworthy of this moment, and that this moment is who you are, and that this moment is going to help you heal and discover what you've always seeked ever since you were born, which is like that motherly love or that fatherly love. But it's even more profound than that, because once you discover that inner vibration, you realize that you're kind of, it sounds very much New Age, but I'm being honest, like you once you heal yourself, you feel a subtle vibration, and it keeps increasing over time, and eventually you kind of get used to that, and your reality kind of changes to match that, and people seem friendlier. So that's kind of like the metaphysical part of it, but I just wanted to share that with you because it's my personal belief, and I've had experiences that are very loving ever since I've been practicing mindfulness. So I know that was a lot, but I think it needed to be told. And for the next few minutes, we're just gonna draw little people that are walking around on my drawing, and they're just walking. They have a little happy face, just like this. And some of them are just little ghosts, little floating happy. Let's make him like a sun, little sunshine, rays of sunshine. Beep, 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 beep. Just like that. And the sun is so important too. If you decide to go outside on a sunny day, it's a very healthy thing to do. And I would suggest feeling the rays of sun on your skin, allowing those rays to penetrate your heart. And as you take a deep breath with those rays, that warmth close to your heart, just say, I am releasing my pain. And even though it's a slow process, that's okay, because sometimes we don't want it to happen. We don't want the healing to happen too fast, because we have a tendency to think that we need to feel it all at once, but it's just little moments of purification that happen. There you go, Mr. Sun. I gave you some hair. That'd be so weird if the sun actually, we discovered that it had hair instead of the heat or the lava. I'm not a scientist, but it's kind of funny. And so we're going to analyze this in a few seconds. Although we've kind of talked in a kind of analytical way, we're still going to look at this and get our sense from it, get your sense from it, get the feeling of it. And I'm just going to draw one more thing. I love these little happy faces. He's wearing sunglasses. He's a cool dude. Cool dude. Dudio. I don't even know if that's a word, but I wrote it. So we look at this. I started off with the flow of a stream, and that kind of inspired me from there to trust myself in speaking and clearing that kind of in that chakra. And I'm not used to saying that, but I'm starting to believe that there might be something to it, that those energies that feel stuck in the throat and heart, and we feel like we can't talk because maybe we were disciplined as children and told not to, and that's kind of my case. But now I am happy to say that I forgive the people who have kind of told me not to speak in my past, and I'm able to do this and help other people who are struggling. So it's kind of great. And we talked about the inner hand, and your homework, if you want, is to really feel your inner hand and Speaking of inner hand and feeling things, I'm excited to bring you as the listener, as the viewer, as the dedicated viewer. I'm excited to bring you outside because we're going to continue this kind of experience that is life. And life is not something that is separate from you. It's not just a word. It's an actual experience. It's if I were to sum it up, it's like a giant om. It's like a giant vibration that we're trying to tap into again because we know it's there, and that's why people say, I feel like there's more to life, because you're right, there is more to life, and I'm trying to share that with you so you can access it through this television program. Access that vibration.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Heartbeat of Mother Earth, I feel you and embrace your warmth. I see you dancing through the trees. Your song floats on the summer breeze. Community, we come together. We are the voice of our ancestors. Thankful for how much you bless us. Feel the thunder in the drum. All our voices sing as one. Feel the power, feel the pride. Feel the drumbeat deep inside. Feel the boom, feel the bass. Let's let go of time and space. It'll make you dance, it'll make you sing. Ode Wegun, Wedok Wishin. The drum will lead you, take you far. Always remember who you are.
Focus better.
Partner better.
Sleep better.
Breathe better.
Love better. Work better. Friend better. Unwind better.
Everything gets better when you get active.
I was actually going to film outside, but it's quite cold outside, so we're going to pretend like this is outside, which technically it is. It's outside the studio. And as I walk up here, the next time you are on a flight of stairs, just kind of do something funny with me. So instead of walking one foot up like this, do this instead. So do both feet on one step, and you'll get a weird sensation. It's a very odd sensation because usually when people walk, it's just 1, 2, 3. But if you walk and you kind of do this, or even 4 times, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, you'll get the strangest feeling, and I promise you it's going to be a weird feeling. But that weird feeling, feel its intensity. And so I should start like a 3-step process and have like big groups of people. This is a 3-step process. No, I'm just kidding. But feel the intensity of that feeling. Feel the anxiety that you might be feeling. Take a deep breath. Let that anxiety go. And maybe you're terrified of stairs, and that's okay. So if you're terrified of stairs, I would suggest having a person next to you holding their arm and going up 2 steps, visualizing yourself going up the other steps safely, and then visualizing yourself going down the steps safely. So if you practice a certain form of visualization, that's also very good. But also, fear is often there because we're so focused on that emotion that there's so many other sensations that we can focus on, and that allows that fear to kind of dissolve. So we can focus on this And we squeeze, slide, squeeze, slide, squeeze, slide. And we can do the same thing down, squeeze, slide, squeeze, slide, squeeze, slide. And we get a sense for the temperature. We get a sense for how small or big the room is. We get a sense for the echo, echo, echo. And we get a sense for the tone of my voice. You can hear the voice that I have. And as you talk, the next time you talk to someone, whether it be at a water cooler at work, let's say you're just here with the water cooler. Hey, how are you, Bob? Oh, I'm not too bad. How's the wife and kids? Oh, I'm not too bad. Well, you talk to Bob and get a sense for your vocal cords as you talk. I can feel my vocal cords, and I feel the vibration up here. And so you get a sense for that. And you can even sense if your jaw is tight, so you can kind of relax. Oh, you just heard a crack there. So my jaw was tight because I went outside and the cold made my muscles all tight. And so as we keep walking upstairs, we notice the color, the blue, the tile, a little bit of dirt, but it doesn't bother me. We notice the lighting, and we can kind of, the more we notice these things, the more we develop a very keen sense for being aware in the here and now. And it becomes almost like a joy, almost like you enjoy working. It's like, it's free work, but at the same time, you realize how connected you really are to everything. And right now I can feel like a vibration in my hands, and that's the temperature change of my hands becoming hotter. And you just sit there, and that vibration, I believe it's not just, it's like the blood becoming warmer. And I just sit there with it. It's an amazing feeling. It feels really nice. And so I just wanted to thank you all for joining me in the Stair Showcase. Take care, everyone. See you later.